Today marks another giant leap in the evolution of a stadium and a franchise.
It sounds so dramatic. Forget Cowboy Stadium. Jerry's Palace has a new sponsor, a new name, and a brand new logo. AT&T Stadium. The new announcement featured this dramatic video. It compared the stadium to iconic structures like the Statue of Liberty before highlighting the history of Texas Stadium and what used to be known as Cowboy Stadium. And at the end came the big reveal, the new logo, white letters on Cowboys blue. Owner Jerry Jones got a little bit emotional making the announcement.
I told a key person with AT&T recently that buying the Cowboys, building this stadium and opening, excuse me if I get a little emotional, Stephen and Charlotte, but opening this stadium and this announcement are the highlights of the time that I've gotten to be involved with the Cowboys off the field. You know those Super Bowls are pretty meaningful on the field.
And of course, Stephen and Charlotte are his children, family members there with him as well. Jerry getting choked up. Mike Lisco is the Director of Sports Management Program at SMU. All right, Mike, thanks for being here tonight. Who is the winner in all of this? Is it Jerry? Is it AT&T? The fans? What do you think?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I think all three. You know, clearly the AT&T folks were engaged in this discussion for a very long time. This hasn't really been
right.
They were one of 3 or 4 people that the Cowboys were talking to all along. From the fans' perspective, I'll start with them because I think it's important to understand. The fans don't really care about corporate naming rights to the extent, unless it's Wrigley Field and they feel there's something being, a name being imposed upon an iconic structure.
No, but they want it to be called Cowboy Stadium. They certainly vocal about that.
Right. It used to be called Texas Stadium.
Yeah.
And,
true.
And
we made the adjustment.
Right. And really, with 3 years in, the Cowboys Stadium moniker was a great placeholder for Jerry. Really bright for him to do that because at the time they were doing the original discussions in 2009. The economy wasn't right to do these kinds of deals for whether Bank of America or AT&T or anybody else. And AT&T is actually a really good partner for them for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a really well-respected brand in America, and you compare that with, the most valuable team and the most valuable league in America.
Right.
That's, if you know by the company you keep, that's actually a very good thing. 2 iconic brands together, that's a good thing. Secondly, they're a locally based company.
True.
And if you look at the name rights deals across the country, they're almost always locally based companies that have or want national reach. So in the case of AT&T, they're in a very competitive category. They're maybe one of the very few partners, the Cowboys' existing partners. They already have a very good relationship with them. But they're maybe the one partner that can provide the incremental value to the fans that maybe other partners couldn't.
Which is better service at the stadium.
Yeah,
Nobody wants dropped calls. You want to post on Facebook and tweet and all that. But this is what, like $19 million a year for Jerry?
The numbers haven't come out. They haven't released the numbers. And they've been estimated between 17 and 19. But you have to understand, they already have an existing deal. So this isn't 17 to 19 incremental dollars on top of the existing big deal they already have.
Okay.
And you have to understand that along with those dollars, there's probably in-kind dollars, value-in-kind dollars, infrastructure dollars that AT&T is putting in place for all the things they're doing to make the stadium faster in terms of connectivity, better Wi-Fi. They're developing mobile apps. The fan engagement element that Jerry and the Cowboys receive for this partnership, over and above all the stuff that AT&T receives, I think is a key for the fans. The big challenge for the NFL now, along with every league, certainly the NFL less than others, but even in the case of the Cowboys, there's an erosion of the fan base and fan attendance at the games themselves because people's TVs and home experiences.
That sometimes will do the job. Well, here's how, let's listen to how Jerry explains the connection between Jerry's World and AT&T.
I've often been told that this stadium reminds someone of cell phone, communication, technology, content, if you will. All of those things go hand in hand with not only the design of our stadium, but also with what we had in mind when we were thinking about the future and also with respect to the past.
You know, Steve Eager's joking. He's like, yeah, it's like a big flip phone is what it looks like. Okay, so the city of Arlington is going to get 5% back. Some people say that's not enough. Fans, people there in the city of Arlington need to be getting more because they helped build this stadium.
That's more than any stadium I'm aware of in all the name rights deals that have occurred across America in the last 20 years. 5% back to the city of Arlington. That's direct.
Seems pretty fair.
It's a pretty good deal. I mean, that's actually good news for the fans and good news for the people in the city of Arlington. There are a lot of economic benefits for the stadium being in Arlington, and certainly the Rangers and Cowboys there. There's a lot of people here in Dallas, I think, would like to see the stadiums here. But,
sure, that's true. Well, let me tell you what people are saying on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Let's get to these. On Twitter, Laura writes, "I am so glad AT&T helped build the stadium." Oh, wait. That was the citizens of Arlington, which is what we just talked about. Cheryl tweets, "Thank you, AT&T, but it will forever be known as Cowboy Stadium." And I think that's true for a lot of people. They're just going to continue to call it Cowboy Stadium. From Facebook, Miguel writes, "Dropped calls and dropped passes, a perfect match." And from Frank, "Seems fitting. Terrible reception is what they are known for." So that's just kind of some of the feedback. Lots of jokes from people out there. But, you know, maybe this will all die down and it will just be AT&T Stadium, at least here on the newscast.
Look, you have a stadium in LA, that a $600 million name rights deal from Farmers Insurance for a stadium that has never been built for a team that doesn't exist.
Right, true.
You have Livestrong Stadium with Lance Armstrong Foundation in Kansas City.
True.
You even have Power Balance Stadium in Sacramento, the former home of the Kings. So there are a lot of name rights deals that don't make sense. This one does make sense from a marketing perspective. Certainly, it makes sense from, you know, when it comes to recouping some dollars for the investment that they've made, both Jerry and the corporate partners they have.
Right.
This is an incremental spend by AT&T. It's not a brand new spend. It's an extension and really a sort of incremental overall boost to their existing involvement. I think it's going to be a good thing for everybody.
All right, well, we'll keep watching. Mike, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Hey, we want to hear what you think about the AT&T Stadium and the new logo. Check out that new logo. Not much was really mentioned about that. All you have to do is like us on Facebook. We are Fox 4 News. Tell us what you think about Jerry Jones selling the naming rights to AT&T. We're going to share some of your comments coming up in tonight's Your Turn. Of course, you can tweet your thoughts as well. Hashtag Fox 4 News.